Actually, can I tell y'all my personal conspiracy theory first before we actually go into a conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I think that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword led to the advent of bangs for goths.
Oh.
Bangs in goth culture. I will not substantiate this.
When did the
I will
game
not
come
provide
out?
evidence. I don't know, like, 2010?
Okay, then that's fake news, because bangs have been around for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, but in goth as like a really popular thing, 2011.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
if I look up 80s goths,
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot of bangs.
We're
I am
gonna
absolutely
see some
immediately
bangs.
provably wrong. Okay, fine. I'll select a different one-liner for the beginning.
I think Yoshi P knew what he was doing when he made Coco Bussy. I think he knew what was going on.
He knew what he was doing. Hey, where do
Pussy.
vampires with gender dysphoria live?
where
Transylvania. Okay.
Welcome
Welcome to episode 17 of the To Be Titled Later podcast. The flat Earth the Hollow Earth episode.
Yeah, hold on. It depends on which side you really want to go on. But yeah, there's some. It's
could be
Hollow
both.
Earth. It could be both.
could be
I'm
both.
Griffin. I'm joined by Anthony as always, and today we have special guest Sophia.
Hello.
Technically, like, not so special. You're already on the first one. Really, this is now
How the fuck
returning
can you tell
guest.
me I'm not special? I'm
How
special.
could you, Anthony?
Oh, I will.
You just
I will leave.
ruin their day.
Truly.
I would truly leave the Discord as a joke and then pop back in, but I don't know what Craig would do, so I have
think
to
Craig
stay.
is fine with it.
I don't. Yeah,
but
maybe.
but the audience wouldn't hear it, so
I would
unless
make a
we
noise on my
narrated
side.
it.
On my side, I
Okay.
would go.
Anyways,
"Doo-doo-doo."
so Hollow Earth episode, how I assume this is going to go, and this may be immediately contradicted by both other people, is that I haven't done any research. I'm the audience stand-in. I know nothing about this really. So Anthony and Sophia are going to tell me about Hollow Earth theory. I will hopefully ask questions that are relevant that people want to know the answers to, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I will say I've done a little bit. I feel like I messed up, and I have found the Reddit user that I wanted to use as kind of like our main focus of the episode once we have really understood what the theories are. I just am trying to find his Reddit because I thought it was so insane that I would remember, like, based on some of the posts. So at some point in our discussion, I'll just be typing trying to find him. I found someone else who I find repulsive. So I think I'm on the right track in terms of the people I'm looking for that believe this stuff. But I think I was initially worried, right? So I am worried that I will sarcastically join a cult just to kind of see how weird they are. But I'm realizing that I don't think there's anyone what would it be, like, not suave but like charismatic enough to trick me to really believe the conspiracy theory. And just looking through people who believe this stuff, these people they're just freaking weirdos. They're just crazy. And so we'll get to some of the people that I found, but
They
it's not cult
are
brand.
passionate.
they're passionate. They're
Are
passionate.
believers.
Yep.
Like,
And I don't know if you've noticed this, but like, I don't think they have a political side, right? Like, they're very nihilistic in government. And I find that kind of,
libertarian would probably
Oh.
be the political side
then
that
maybe
we would
not.
land in.
But like
But you
literal
never know.
actual libertarianism where it's like, I don't want the government to do literally anything. And
Because they're
unfortunately,
lizards.
that's also a bad outcome.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
we've seen a significant overlap of conspiracy theory culture and just like the Republican Party. So
Yeah.
that might be changing to a certain degree, but I don't
there's-
know how many. No, this would be an interesting research to do. Like, how many fucking Republicans believe in Hollow Earth? Like, how
there's two aspects. I think there's two ways to look at that, where we can look at Republicans and you can separately look at like third party libertarian types, because I think those are two very different mind states that lead to the same kind of conspiracy. Conservatives in general, because their brains are fundamentally broken and they lack empathy. libertarians, because their brains are broken in a different way, where they see all like government function as bad, whereas Republicans want like an intense hierarchy.
The libertarians are kind of like,
weird.
you know, like the horseshoe thing, where they kind of get closer on the other side to like the leftists and shit, like anarchists and all that.
I actually want to propose a new theory that's not the horseshoe theory. I want to propose the trident theory.
Yeah.
All right, because I think libertarians somehow go more towards a like actual centrism, but then go shoot up outside of just a basic spectrum onto like
I feel like
another axis into like a weird overlap. So there's still horseshoe theory, but there's just a third prong in the middle for libertarians.
I feel like we've strewn from the path of Hollow
So we have
yes, I'll get
Political
I'll get Okay, so can anyone, what do you think are maybe the two main choices of Hollow Earth? So what's the top one that everyone knows? What's like the main Hollow Earth?
What do you mean? Like the Earth is empty? What? What do you
so,
mean?
So there's two different types of Hollow Earth theories, right? There's the theory...
one where we're living on the inside of Hollow Earth and we're looking towards the center, and the other where the Earth inside is hollow underneath our feet.
Correct. So I think it's funny because this is why in the beginning, when you fucked up and you said flat Earth, it's like another level where they're like, no. It's not that we have a convex globe. It's that actually it's concave and we live on like the inside of the sphere. That to me blows my fucking mind because it's so funny looking at old drawings of like, then where does the sun go? And it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so there's two main theories. It's that we live in the crust and there's another world inside, or many, we'll talk about that, or we live on the crust or on the inside of the crust. And then the sun like just spins in a circle, but for some reason we sometimes can't see it, even though it's like just floating in the middle of the planet.
It's just like the cosmos exist as an orb of sorts. In the center, but then it introduces a lot of complications. The more you try to think about it, the less it makes sense. But we gotta play.
Yeah,
we gotta play the game. Today is
that one's more nonsensical.
Today is about playing the game. All right, like all of this makes absolute fucking sense. All right.
Okay.
So name, who do you think maybe pushed some of the ideas of Hollow Earth? So if I was like, hey,
the guy who invented Mormons.
Okay, so you're thinking it's like a religious figure. You're thinking it's like it was a religious figure.
I think it has to somehow be like a kind of religious figure because one, these beliefs are extremely culty behavior in that they tend to create like an in-group and an out-group where you're in the in-group, you're in the know, you know all the secrets, and even if you have to abandon your family, it's because they are unwilling to acknowledge the truth.
Okay.
So that leans specifically towards like a lot of religious like thought and doctrine and how those get created.
Okay. Sophia, do you think they're also maybe a religious figure that was pushing a lot of these ideas, or what's your
That's a leading question.
Or was it?
Okay.
Do you also agree or do you not agree?
I do. Okay, I do remember like some story about somebody literally starting a cult commune in like fucking Florida or something that was like centered around the concept of Hollow Earth, but that is a different thing.
This is someone who was born much earlier.
Much earlier?
Yeah, Florida wasn't a thing.
Oh, so we're not talking about Hitler right now?
No, we're not yet talking about Hitler.
Okay.
Which is shocking.
Are we talking about Jesus Christ?
Okay, so now we've gone a pretty far range. Or have we? Hot take. No, it was fucking Edmund Halley, the guy who's known for Halley's Comet. He was like, hey, everyone.
What?
He was like, hey, everyone.
That Shine Down
I'm about
song.
to start singing some fucking Shine Down. I'm about to belt it.
So yeah, he was like, hey, I'm a little confused, like magnetism and like the earth and like things are being weird. Like the earth's magnetic poles seem to be not constant. They're kind of shifting. Like, did you guys know that? Like the earth's magnetic poles.
But that's because of like the magma inside.
Yes, but he didn't know that. So he was a smart man who was trying to figure out why the Earth's magnetic poles were shifting. And he thought, we got solid and we got void. So either it's a void or it's a solid. He didn't think about liquid. He fucked up. He only knew 2 of the 3 states of matter.
No.
He didn't know about the liquid.
4,
void,
please.
how is
Plasma,
void a
fuck
state
off
of
about
matter?
plasma. Well, it's gas, whatever. You know,
Okay.
I was trying to make the joke.
Oh.
So he believed that the Earth was 4 spheres in each other.
What?
Like he was
Huh?
like, there's the Earth, and that's where we live. Hold on, I gotta get this exact quote right because I thought it was so funny. Because it's like,
I'm gonna need a lot of elaboration on 4 spheres.
yeah. So he believed. Let me scroll through. I got some notes. Okay, the Earth is represented by the outward circle. So I'm gonna send you a picture of a few circles together.
Okay, great.
Or put it here. That won't be a problem when someone joins. And then this is. So again, what do you see? It's just circles.
I
right?
see the Target logo.
Okay, it's just the Target logo.
It's the Target logo plus.
Yep. So let me figure out where I've because I had to scroll a little bit. So the Earth is the outward circle, right? And then there's 3 inner circles that are made nearly proportionate. It actually says proportionable, but we're just gonna say proportionate because I know what he's talking about. To the planets, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, all which may be included within this globe. So he's like Russian nesting doll with like the different planets.
Is there a reason for 4 specifically, or is it like those were the only planets that they knew about at the time or something? Or because like why wouldn't there be more or less necessarily? Was that ever elaborated on?
Not that I could find exactly. If I had to guess, it's that he did some math and was like, well, they're about like I think he was just like a circle and a circle is probably boring. A circle, like 2 circles, 3 circles, whoa. And so pretty much he's like, we got all these planets inside our planet. And you might be thinking, but then how do the planets not fucking hit each other? Remember, he's like, he's a smart man. So he's like, there's no danger of them ramming into each other because like Saturn's rings, they're held in place by gravity. I guess technically, right? He got that right too. And so really he's just like magnetism and gravity and all of these Earths have like different magnets. And so because of that, that's what like allows our Earth magnetism to be kind of wonky because there's all these spheres that have their own magnetism and they're kind of like interacting with each other. Again, he's like kind of not wrong, right? He just doesn't understand how like cores of the Earth work. He kind of messed it up.
He's
So
wrong.
not only
but
he's wrong, he's so wrong. But not
yeah.
only did he make Hollow Earth theory, he also started the Insane Clown Posse.
What is that?
What?
Magnets, how the fuck do they work?
Yeah, that's true.
What
yeah,
an inspiration.
he says the inside of the shell must be lined with what he calls magnetical matter. So again, he was just like magnets.
That's
like if
fucking
we don't
nothing.
understand it, magnets. He got that. So
wait, when
this is
was
his whole
this? When was this?
This was 1716.
Okay.
This was like the 1700s.
Okay.
Like it was him and Isaac Newton, I think. I don't know. It was him and some other fancy guys. And also I think he died in like 1720. So I mean, it was a while ago. But yeah, so that was his whole spiel. And then, he's like, okay, so, and then on each world, because you can't just have like rocks, right? Because that'd be boring. Like if he was like, hey, everyone, there's just like rocks floating beneath our feet. Everyone would be like, oh, that's kind of boring. So he went, but on each Earth, I'm going to now call them Earths because I think it's easier than just saying like weird inner balls.
I got some of those sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's where the microplastic is. That's a callback.
No, it's called tucking, but okay.
But his whole thought was that on each smaller Earth, there were people. Like he thought they were inhabited. And so his whole spiel was like every Earth is to the people who live on them its own sphere, right? So like somehow like we just got lucky and we got the real sky, but every other Earth beneath us gets the fake sky and they don't, I guess, know and they live. And so people were like, well, that sounds dumb. Like why are there?
So like they're looking
why
up
would
and
there
they're
be-
seeing just like dirt and roots and worms and rocks and shit.
No, No, so he didn't really have a good answer for that. So he struggled. He ended up saying, it was actually kind of funny. He ended up saying, I'm gonna like super what's it called when you're just kind of winging it from what they said.
Paraphrase.
I don't know.
Paraphrase. Thank you. I'm like trying to read and think of a word I couldn't remember, so it was hard. No, so he like doesn't fully know. Like he's pretty honest in the fact that he doesn't really understand because he hasn't been there. So like he's a math guy, but he also knows that like people need to live with light. Like he's not like those people that are like, oh well, they're dwarves, right? Like he believes they're people. And so he's like, well, maybe the crust like has like geodes that shine like stars, and maybe there's like one pocket of crystals and that shines like the sun. He's like, or the entire thing is bright and they're just live in perfect sunlight the entire time. He kind of just is like, I don't know, but clearly for there to be people, there has to be light.
Why does it sound like he's high as fuck coming up with these theories, dude?
He probably was.
I mean, to
Like,
be fair, a lot of them
like-
were constantly on like opiates or cocaine.
True.
Yeah.
Opium, just straight up smoking opium. Like, it's the geodes, man. It's the geodes. Like,
it's just so funny because like he's like, well, listen, guys, I'm a scientist. Like, I understand that I haven't seen it. So like, I don't know if it's a geode or maybe it's some sort of mineral I'm not aware of, but I know for a fact there's people. And you're like, but how? Like, he just chose that there had to be people. And so because that, he then had to build up like a fake mineral that then shines like the sun to give these people warmth. I don't like it's just very interesting.
He invented sunium.
Yeah. So he's just pretty much trying to figure out like there's something going on, and that's why there's people down there. And then you think, well, why would there be people? Like, why? And based on what it was, atheism wasn't really a thing. So he had to like throw God in there. And he was like, well, shit, like God's got to have a good reason for doing this. And I actually kind of like his reasoning. I think it's like kind of smart. Look, it's one of those things where someone like was like, this is dumb. Why would God do this? And he didn't have an answer. So he stayed up all night writing down a reason until he came up with one. And so really his argument is like, well, why do people build tall buildings? All right. And it's like, oh, well, like to house more people in the same amount of space. And he's like, exactly. We are on like a multi-leveled Earth, and we just get to like house more people than if we had a solid core. Right. Like he's like, it's just like a city.
But that doesn't explain why God would need more people to exist.
You're right. But I think at that point they were like, well, people are the best. And so, of course, God wants infinite people, minus the plagues and all the horrible stuff that happened. But yeah, like his whole argument was just like God wanted more room. And so why not increase the surface area that people can live on by just making multiple Earths? Which,
I mean, he also gets multiple opportunities, right? Like you make the upper crust Earthers, and then you're like, fuck, dude, they're like warring, they're messing up, like they're just doing a lot of bullshit. I don't know. And then you get to try again. You get to do round 2 and round 3 and round 4 of humanity.
You know, that could be the
You
opposite.
just break apart the crust.
I feel like it'd be the opposite. Like he started with the smaller Earth, and as he kept getting like he kept fucking up, he kept like just covering it up. He was like, nope, cover up this Earth.
Okay,
I love that theory. I love it.
I'm surprised that that's not already a part of it, because they have like the flood myth. Is the flood myth in any way tied into that? Because a lot of religions around the world have a flood myth.
This was a scientist working on top of religion and trying to fit his bullshit into.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're using religion, so I could see how, like, you could think, okay, this is, like, tied into the flood myth. Maybe there were multiple floods that covered up the bottom layers or whatever.
No, well, also, I think it's so funny that, like, this is just how privileged we are to be the upper worlders, where, like, he fully creates a world where no one knows that they're in the crust except for us. We just happen to be on the outer shell.
But he also assumes with the outer shell and this fake world that he's created where nobody knows that they're an inner shell.
Yeah, like, I just think that's so funny that, like, literally he describes, like, well, clearly there's some crystals that perfectly match the stars and sun and moon we see. And then no one questions, like, are you sure there aren't 5 layers? And he's like, nope, it's only 4.
Positive.
Like, nope. Like, I'm pretty sure we are the top layer. It's just funny. Like, I think that's super funny.
I love the idea of just God getting a do-over.
Still unsure how he got 4.
It reminds me of, do any of you guys, well, I guess I'm just talking to Sofia because I know Griffin, you don't. Have you watched Rick and Morty at all?
I watched 2 seasons.
Only while on acid.
Okay, well, you might still remember. It's the the teeny-verse mini-verse that powers his car battery.
I know that part.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
I feel like it's like we're not going to go into the whole episode, but it's just like each scientist makes a smaller universe to like become a power source, but they believe that they have the top universe.
Yeah.
And that would be this is really what what's his name,
That's actually
Edmund?
kind of a good analysis. That's kind of a
Yeah.
good metaphor. Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
Rick and Morty metaphors.
Damn, Rick and
Rick
Morty.
and Morty
You know,
is so
it does
fucking
take a
deep.
high IQ to understand.
It really does. I'm impressed.
So yeah, Edmund Haley, who first discovered the comet, was like, "Here's my Hollow Earth theory."
I
So
just saw Haley's comet. She waved.
So there's the, we're gonna listen. Really, when you think about it, Hollow Earthers and people that like butt rock are kind of in the same camp.
Do
Don't
you really
put
want
us
to
in
be
the
in
same
that group?
camp, bitch. Don't
I'm
do
sorry,
it.
Sophia.
Leave
I'm
me
sorry.
out of this.
Do you know how crazy that would be, Sophia, if you were talking to someone, they're like, "Yeah, I really believe in the Hollow Earth," and you're like, "Yeah, at least Shinedown's great." They'd be like, "What the fuck?
What?
Like, what are you talking about?" Oh,
I was about to ask which layer of the Hollow Earth Shinedown lives on, but I guess we all live on that. I don't know.
would that make it cooler? Would it not be butt rock if we're like, "What do you mean? It's the guys from the fucking inside of the Earth. Like
From
they're
the
not lame.
core.
From the core."
From the core. It's Creed. Okay. It's Creed from the core.
So yeah, so there's, and also I'm going to post this because this is, I think, Sophia, what you were talking about a few minutes ago, where like the heavens like spin around. So this is not the same theory as Haley's theory.
No, I've never heard of Haley's theory before today, so that one's new to me.
But it's just an interesting like graph.
Can I read this one out loud just so it's like, I feel like it's funnier in audio, right? We live inside. Drop in and see us. General offices of the Coruscant system, 313-317 Englewood Avenue, Chicago. Phone normal 382. Our literature may be obtained at Hall Sunday evenings. The Flaming Sword, a 16-page weekly publication.
This is the next thing. This is not the target logo Earth theory. What we're talking about now is this the ad that you just sent for the cult commune? It's not Chicago, it's Florida. It's not Florida, it's Chicago.
It's not. It's just what you were describing was like actively what this person was also pushing.
So how do we get which person?
Haley's this article, this is the clickbait that the fucking Wired article that I'm reading, like it opens up with this picture and then literally it's like, but this isn't what Haley believed, and then the entire article is about what Edmund Haley believed about the 4 inner Earths, and it's like, then this is not the right picture. Like this is a different theory. I just wanted to post it because it was interesting.
Yeah, but that image that you're showing right now is because I'm looking at a sentence right now. Are you going to talk about the cult? Like the cult from...
No, I actually don't know about this cult. I did not. I went straight from this to Nazis. I did not go to Republicans. Or did I?
Right. Well, I will say that these 2 sentences come from an article called Nazis and the Hollow Earth from liveabout.com or liveabout, I don't know. Cyrus Teed, an alchemist from Utica, New York, was one of the first people to popularize this idea. So obsessed was he with the idea that he founded a religion based on it, changed his name to Koresh, and established a commune for Koreshanity in Chicago in 1888. Which makes me think that perhaps this image is from that commune.
What was this? Well, look, it was. What was the system again?
System?
Well, what did he create?
Koreshanity.
What was this cult called? Okay, so when this is called Drop In and See Us at the General Offices of the Coruscant System, I think they're the same. I think
There we go.
That's what Sophia's saying. Yeah.
He was a proponent of the inverted Earth theory, but we haven't quite gotten to that yet.
Yeah,
we
I'm,
haven't.
So
I'm
that's
curious how
what's
we get
coming
from
next.
Hollow Earth to Inverted Earth, and also how the fuck he got the name Koreshan, or why he changed his name. Was that just
Probably
in his
for
head?
the same reason as David Koresh, which is just bullshit, religious bullshit.
I mean, yes, but like, is he naming himself after something that already existed, or did he just pull that from his ass for like, this is a name from the center of the earth or whatever?
Well,
I don't
I'm
know.
literally just
So
gonna
this is
guess
where-
it's the exact same reason that David Koresh named himself David Koresh, which I don't know what it is. It's some religious bullshit. It's gotta be.
But
So,
I
a couple
want to know
things.
what Koresh.
Well, so the hard part is there's so many different people that had, like, it must have been really hard to be a Hollow Earther when this was all kicking off, because there's just so many people who believe slightly different things that I don't know how you would ever find alignment. So I kind of thought, to me, that this one made less sense. The fact that, like, we live inside of the little egg, and then, like, somehow the earth and stars are, like, also a sphere. It seemed like that was a weirder concept. And I didn't know how to, like, searching Hollow Earth makes sense, but then to be like, we are on the crust was a little bit harder. So I don't have as much research into this form of Hollow Earth the T.
It's also just more
whatever.
boring, honestly. Just the idea, because then it's just like, well, we are the universe. Earth is the universe. When we look up, actually, we're looking into the center of everything, and Earth is all there is. And so I feel like it's restrictive, because when you actually get into like Hollow Earth theory, like there is a civilization in the center of our Earth. It's a lot more exciting. The possibilities are endless versus like, we're just kind of spinning around like on the outside of this globe-like thing, and the stars are in the middle, and like I don't know. It's less exciting. I'm not inspired.
No,
Okay,
I totally
then do
agree.
we
I think-
want to restrict this conversation to specifically Hollow Earth theory and not Inverted Earth theory?
Well, we can cover it
Sure.
quickly. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that really, like, the nice part is when, like, someone like Haley is like, hey, I believe that there's Saturn and Venus and Mars and the sun. And then he doesn't go, oh, but they're inside the Earth and so are we, and that's it. Like, I like that he's like, oh, there's just other planets and they're uninhabited. Like, he at least, like, understands enough. I feel like if you're a person's like, yeah, like, this sphere is it, and I assume that they believe that the outside of the sphere is just, like, smooth, like, because it must be, because they never argue that, like do they argue that then there's another thing on the other side of the globe, or the crust?
I don't know. That's probably just where all the dirt and worms and stuff are, you know?
Oh,
It's Wormland, baby. All that lives outside
It's
is
just the
worms.
void, or maybe it's just like God's light out there. Maybe that's
but
what
I
it
think
is.
that I'd rather than it be a flat Earth. Like, if you're gonna have us on the inside of the sphere, then just be flat. I feel like it's just easier.
What I really don't understand thinking about it is like okay, I don't have the source for this, but I was listening to this other podcast about it, and they were talking about how like perhaps Hitler was stoked about this idea of the inverted Earth, and was like, you guys, my scientist, we should figure out how we can be on one side of our inverted Earth, and like exactly where do we have to stand to, for example, spy on the British from the opposite side of the inside of the Hollow Earth. However, how would one look from one side of the Earth to the other if the cosmos are in the core? If the sun and moon and stars and night and day and all that exist in the center. So I don't know.
Yeah, it like really doesn't make any sense. Like, it just I
mean, as an important note, Hitler was constantly on drugs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess it could be a meth idea, but still, something to think about.
I think for the Nazis, it's very specifically a meth idea.
So I also think it's very weird. I think how do I want to phrase this? This is not going well in my brain already. I think it's interesting that most crazy ideas, there's like some footnote that's like, the Nazis were looking into it. They spent some money. The entire research team died because they tried to find giant holes and they ended up like falling into Antarctica. I think it's very funny. And so there was a note I found about something called the Thule Society, which I guess was mentioned on an episode of Supernatural. supernatural, which I think then
if we start going into like the Nazis and the occult, like esoteric shit that Hitler was into, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's like a second conspiracy theory episode that we would have to go into.
There's a lot there. There's so much.
Well, I'm gonna do a little bit. I'm just gonna do a slight dabble.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull. Then I'm gonna leave. Then I'm gonna pull straight out.
Bring us in.
Okay, we will not interrupt. Do your slight little toe dip into it to test the temperatures of the water, and then we will evacuate.
Dip those toes.
Okay.
Get them wet.
So really, again, the Thule Society, they were also like involved. They were like, oh, Hollow Earth, this could be interesting, right? Like all these things. And so they were formed after World War I. Again, horribly racist people. It's a little weird. Like there's some accounts that they believed that like the German people were from a like undiscovered northern, like above Greenland continent, which I think is just Antarctica. So I don't quite understand what they were going for there. But also there's these conversations, and I think like part of it's just the internet, but it merges the Thule Society and their belief about like horrible race whatever stuff with this place called Agartha. And that is like an opening into, that is what people who believe that there is like that we're on the crust and then there's an inside that's filled with people. They believe, at least a lot of them believe, that it's this civilization called Agartha. So now I'm fully done with the Nazis. We can get to the Nazis in a later episode. But really, it's
I don't know if we ever want to get to the Nazis.
Well, I feel like this will probably come up again when we get to when we go past the inverted Earth theory into the Hollow Earth theory, because it is where they believe the magical race of white people live.
You mean the Aryans?
What?
The Aryans? The mythological race of people that the Nazis believed in, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If that's what you're talking about, then yeah.
I mean, yeah, it probably all ties in. Let's be real.
Yep.
So, again,
also, as a side note, I did look up the name Koresh and where it came from. It is the Hebrew version of Cyrus. It has a meaning that is cultivator or digger and farmer.
Wow. Well, that's funny because his name, the guy who founded the Chicago cult, his name was Cyrus. So I guess that makes sense.
Fuck. So he just changed to the Hebrew version of Cyrus. Okay. No, that tracks. That answers all of my questions, which was just like, how did he pick Koresh? Why did he change his name? It wasn't really a thing as much before then. It's not like there's a religion based around hollow or inverted earth theory. So how did he get to that? Like Nation of Islam people typically change their name to like an Islamic name, like Muhammad Ali from whatever his name was before. I don't remember.
It's the biblical name of Cyrus the Great.
That track. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That answers that thread that was dangling in my mind. All right, continue.
Okay. So the problem I have is that I was trying to look up this Agartha thing, and this is where I got stuck. Okay. So I remember that, Griffin, at some point you and I went down a rabbit hole and we found this guy who had a full story. Like he was writing a novel on
the Reddit thread? Yeah.
Yes.
And it was like, there's a billion different groups in the underground. I've been there. It's Middle Earth. J.R.R. Tolkien was almost kind of right, but slightly off. There's dwarves, there's lycanthropes, there's vampires, there's whatever dragon people would be, yada yada.
So it seems like Agartha is this secret Atlantis type civilization where if you believe enough, like if you are a hollow earth, there's an inside civilization. Like Agartha is a good cover for just whatever you believe. Is like really kind of how it goes. And so
it's a catch-all?
It kind of seems like it is. Like it's one of those things where like, oh, it was first mentioned by a French poet 200, 300 years ago. And so because of that, I think there's like a level of like, you know, it's like lost knowledge, right? Like that's what gets these people like how many times do you listen to like a sci-fi movie? It's like, oh, this was known in the past, but like magic started to leave this world and it went inside the earth. Like it's this like ancient, quote unquote ancient, like knowledge, like people knew, but like we forgot. So I think Agartha is like a good excuse for people like, oh, it's that. And so
esoteric knowledge.
I know. I was just like trying to find that guy's post again. The hard part I have is that you can't find this stuff. It's kind of like I'm gonna go to J.R.R. Tolkien because
I'm reading this article about it right now, dude.
Okay,
I'm reading the Wikipedia.
I'm gonna do a little Reddit rant while you guys are like absorbing, and then I will stop. It's kind of like if you're looking for something, you can't find it because you start looking up like the Underdark, Dwarves, Hollow Earth, and there's clearly enough normal people to be like, oh, you mean like r/world building, D&D, like how to be a good DM, like things like these. You have to like get to a weird Pangea, which I think is a D&D thing. Like you need to like understand that like if you find one weirdo, you just see like who's commenting on him, and that's you get access to these sites. Google will not be like, oh, did you want the crazy shit where like everyone is a lizard reptile? You're not getting that from the algorithm. And so you kind of have to like wander the path until finally you look around, you go, oh, I'm in some crazy shit. And that's how you know you found good Reddit. So that's my rant.
Wild.
It looks like Agartha specifically has origins in Buddhism. And Buddhist mythology.
The word Agartha?
The idea of Agartha, because it, according to Wikipedia, its history is a vast complex of caves underneath Tibet inhabited by demigods called Asuras.
Ooh, but are you mixing that with Shambhala? Because a lot of the Agartha things are like, that's Shambhala. They're different worlds.
Frequently associated or confused with Shambhala, which is Buddhism. Oh no, that's related to. Well, yeah, no, it's Shambhala is featured prominently in I think a sect of Buddhism.
Okay.
It's called Vajrayana. Pronunciation's pending. I will not say. And Tibetan Kalachakra teachings, and revived in the West by Madame Blavatsky. Was a Russian and American mystic, author who co-founded the Theosophical Society. So Theosophy used Shambhala, which is confused with Agartha. Oh God, I don't even know what's real anymore.
There was a contact between Germany and Tibet during World War II, it looks like. Which was partially motivated by occult interests.
Okay, yeah, so their Thule Society probably was related to the Theosophical Society, or not necessarily the Theosophical Society, but Shambhala.
It is wild how much, because of course, when we think about World War II and Nazi Germany, we think about the atrocities that were committed and that aspect, the racist aspect of their whole thing. But there was so much happening behind the scenes that got kind of swept aside by history. But legitimate incursions, just legitimately just being so into the occult, so into esoteric knowledge, and God, I don't know, because I'm reading this article about they're I don't know, expedition to Tibet and the connection with it's wild. There's a lot. There's so much.
I mean, there's there is a concerted effort to try to disambiguate Nazi Germany from religion, mostly by people who are heavily Christian, because Nazi Germany was a heavily Christian place. But also by people who just are Nazis as well and don't want to admit it. Anyways, what more do you have for us, Anthony?
Let me go through my tabs. Then I found a Forbes article, which was kind of funny. You guys were talking about how mostly flat earthers. Let's see if I can even send it. So I don't believe this article. I think this was written probably by some fucking asshole. But I think it's funny that it of course went to Forbes, which meant that I assume at some point Fox News read this and was like, look at all the dumb idiot people. This article says only 2/3 of American millennials believe the earth is round. And then it goes through what it looks to be some sort of polling data showing how many people believe the earth is round versus the people that believe there's skeptics. This is going into kind of flat earth. So I'm going to just dabble on it a little, because supposedly they polled 8,200 adults, but then it only shows that, I guess this is by percentage. So I guess this is saying that 94% of people 55 or older have always believed the earth is round, but currently only 66% of millennials believe the earth is round.
When is this data from?
This is from 2018.
This says 18 to 24-year-olds. Are at 66%, and then 25 to 34-year-olds were at 76%. Total population for the whole study was 84% said, I have always believed the world is round. So I feel like this article is literally just dunking on the youth. Like that's
yes.
Well, immediately
Yes.
I see a problem with the questions that they asked as well, because they have like, I have always believed the world is round. I have thought the world is round, but more recently I have doubts. I have always thought the world is flat, but more recently I have doubts. I have always believed the world is flat, and then other not sure. They don't have like a, I thought the world was flat, but now I believe the world is round. They don't have, or I believed the world was round, but now I believe the world is flat. It's just like the I have doubt. And the other is 16% of 18 to 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
They're
I think
sure.
it's safe to assume, I think like a large proportion of those could be people who are like, oh yeah, as a kid I thought the world was flat, but I was fucking stupid. Now I know it's round.
I mean-
and that just wouldn't apply to the other question. So
True.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying these are poorly
necessarily-
worded questions.
I don't necessarily trust our public education system enough to
Oh, no, the
like,
public education is terrible as well. I'm just saying like the questions in this as well are particularly bad.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because then there's they do it by not age but by pay, I guess, income level.
Oh, yeah.
And it does look like that if you get paid under $40,000 a year, you are more likely to say other / not sure than if you make over 80,000. And so I'm sure there's something there. Like if someone's like, man, I don't really understand this question.
it aligns with
other.
education level.
Yes.
Yeah. Wealth in America specifically very strictly aligns with education level, because everything is American education or school funding specifically is based around property taxes in the area.
But Sophia, this is a way where we can dunk on millennials, but also on poor people. Like, this is something where, like, it's not something like, oh, millennials that, like, aren't educated well because of a system. It's just like, oh, it's just poor people. Like, this is just a way of being like,
Right.
poor young people are dumb.
We love dunking on the poors. What a pastime.
So it just was like an interesting, I stumbled upon this random geologist who works for Forbes being like, look at fucking young people, poor young people don't know what they're doing. So
Yeah,
just
this
like
is
a rant,
dumb.
just like a weird kind
This is a
of,
dumb study. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I feel like it's like, if we were to do a bias analysis on this study, I feel like we might find some issues. So I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I'm tracing
that
down
was-
the study to figure out where they got this data from. YouGov, who are you?
and then I will do my final, like, I couldn't find my original flat earther. I feel like I should have like tracked him down easier.
Yeah, didn't we message that to each other so it wouldn't have been...
What, your dude on
Did
Reddit?
we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
this
you
is a
could have like
different
just
guy.
checked
Okay.
links.
So this is a different guy on Reddit. This is someone who is really into conspiracies, and I stumbled again. It's one of those things where this person is going to be my roadblock entry, like not my roadblock, my entry point into flat Earth. This man does not believe in flat Earth. He doesn't believe in hollow Earth, but he's insane, and I know that I'm like only 2 steps, like I'm 3 degrees away from the hollow Earth world. So I just need to get there through this crazy person.
Awesome.
But they've got a list of don't vote for anyone who doesn't explicitly state this agenda. I don't know what a lot of these are, and so I'm a little scared. So I kind of want someone else to read through these
Okay.
and then let me know if these are.
I'll do it. So don't vote for anyone who doesn't explicitly state this agenda. The gold standard.
So
First
I
of
think
all,
that was funny.
fucking stupid.
It's very stupid.
Executive Order 11110. No idea what that is.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up because now I'm worried.
Look that up
Same.
as I read through the rest of these. Ending secret societies. I assume they're talking about like what is it, the Freemasons and whatnot. That's not
It's
really a
like-
secret society. We know about them.
I feel
If
like they're
they're
talking
secret-
about like the secret, I don't know, like the secret political societies of Democrats that, I don't know, eat babies and shit. It's
Well,
a
that's the
conspiracy
thing.
theorist.
They're secret. You wouldn't know about them. You can't end them because they happen in secret. Ending alphabet agencies. They don't like the CIA. They don't like the FBI. Whatever, man.
I also hate acronyms. I'm for it.
Fuck the alphabet mafia.
Yeah.
So I will say, okay, so I've gone back. I'm going back up to Executive
Okay, yeah.
Order 111110.
Please.
It looks like it is a JFK made like an executive order that allowed for silver certificates to be created by the Treasury. So this guy just loves gold and silver, like as a monetary item.
Okay.
Because he doesn't trust the
Sure.
banks.
Because he doesn't trust the banks. So
Here's
just
where
FYI.
we maybe
Because-
get into some anti-Semitism here.
Oh, we're into that in the next two because first of all, ending the central banks. That is their next one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because the next one after that is ending the Rothschilds.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How could we
Yeah.
have known?
So after that is
Yeah.
ending the crown. I assume that means like the British royal crown, in which case I agree, but for different reasons.
But I think this man is an idiot. One, okay, a couple things. I'm just noticing the picture I've sent is also JFK, so that's why he loves JFK, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I just think this person's so dumb because they probably think that is the only monarchy left in this planet, and I think that's why they just call it the crown. Like, I get that it's like a synonymous thing, but it's just like, how are we ending it? Like, we're not even in that fucking country, so it's just interesting and just.
I'm going to skip one ahead so you can look it up while we talk about the other two, I assume. Ending the 1871 Corp Act.
Yeah, do you know what that is? Well, I know what the
Nope,
other. Okay.
I don't. Please look that up.
So, okay,
so
we'll go back
the
to
one
the other
right
one.
before that is ending
Yep.
the MSM, the mainstream media.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're just gonna end it. That's it. That's it.
And then after the Corp Act one is the ending District of Columbia. So Washington, D.C. Just end it.
Makes sense.
Just fuck it. Nuke it.
Might as well sink into the swamp it's built on anyways.
You're so right.
I also think the ending. I think the 1871 Core App is the creation of DC, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is it? Then that's just the same thing.
Like I think this person just like, yeah, they just needed a longer list. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it looks like that's what it's
From
about.
10 monts ago on r/conspiracy. Half the
And
sub are
this post
psychotic
has
liberal
320
trolls.
upvotes. Like this, r/conspiracy legitimately terrifies me. Actually,
It's a
kinda
terrible
fucked up.
place. Their post right before that has one upvote, and it says half the sub are psychotic liberal trolls who love Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the CIA, and downvote every post. The other half are Trump NPCs who believe Trump will save them from the quote deep state end quote, who he's best friends with.
So that's why this man's so interesting, because this is like one of those just like nihilistic, like everything. Again, it's not even libertarianism. Maybe it is, but like this person, like if you scroll down, it's just a bunch of anti-Elon. Like he believes Bill Gates is evil, Big Pharma is evil. He believes Elon is the Antichrist. He like, I guess doesn't like Trump. It's just interesting to see like this person just doesn't like the establishment, but then also is like, don't vote for anyone. Like this person is very, political in the extent that like I don't know, I was scrolling somewhere down, there's some Republican and he's like, he doesn't believe with all the points we need to, like this guy is like waiting for some politician to be like checking all these things off his list and then he'll vote for them.
He's the
So
definition of a do your research person who has absolutely
Yeah.
no idea how to do research.
Yeah. Also, did JFK ever wear like fucking medals? Like he was a general?
No, I think that's an AI image.
Well, I know. Well, I know, but like I don't think that's like how that works. Like I don't
No,
think
he
our
did.
president wears. So yeah, I just thought this is just such a weird. Yeah, the guy very much doesn't like vaccines. But like, do you kind of feel like I could like this person? I'm sure is only a couple comments away from other people who believe in Hollow Earth. So I think I'm gonna try and
dig
Like,
through.
I think this man is pretty close to believing that all of our politicians are lizards. Like, I know he's close. Maybe I could push him there. If I just
If we're looking for Reddit content on this shit, I'm sure I could find some for you, especially in my Google search of Agartha Thule Society. There were some Reddit posts popping up. So, but then again, that heads into the Nazi side of things.
I've been scrolling down this person's Reddit account, and they have a post with a screenshot from an article from The Sun. The title they've given is "Cube was right," and the title from the article they've pictured is "Melting Down. Ice Cube calls Bill Gates a bunker bitch and spreads conspiracies about COVID vaccines and Epstein."
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's
Ice
funny.
Cube.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I would also call a lot of billionaires a bunker bitch. They're all building them.
It's just like, I think this person, it's just so interesting because, like, it seems like one of their main concerns is that all of these politicians, while they believe that, like, oh, they're on the left. Oh, what was that? I don't know.
Was that Craig?
Was that Craig?
Craig, are you alive?
I think Craig's fine. Whatever to back up. Don't worry about it.
But, like, I think it's just so funny where, like, this person clearly has the issue with, like, the establishment, like, politician where, like, they all know each other, and depending on, like, the last 50 fucking years, there's just pictures of all of them together. Like, I can tell this person, like, that in their brain has, like, there's a comment. There's only one party at the highest of levels. The problem is that I know that at some level, there's some sort of anti-Semitism, which makes this so horrible. Like, if this person just wasn't as crazy, be like, yeah, dude, like, it's unfair. It's just fucking capitalism. Like, this man's mad at capitalism. He just doesn't really know it. And he's assigned it to horrible beliefs. So I don't know. We'll see. I might like keep an eye on this guy just to see if he's doing okay.
Yeah, you're gonna keep on the post.
I might watch him. I might just see how it's going with him.
I might join r/strange earth. I feel like that's where we're gonna find some some interesting information. I found this one Reddit comment that was like, is there links between the Hollow Earth and the Nephilim or the fallen angels of the Anunnaki? There's so many avenues of thought. I know, I went to his page. He mostly is just talking about like antinatalism. But also Hollow Earth.
What I think you need to do is go to the comments on his post and find the top post, like the top comment, and you go to that person's page.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the comment. The comment that has one upvote. Oh my god.
Also, I found the post that Anthony first linked to me, and unfortunately it's been deleted by users, so you'd have to use like Internet Archive to find it.
No.
Is this just turning into like a Reddit stories podcast though?
I mean, like, kind of. Do you have anything more about
Reddit? I hate
Hollow
Reddit.
Earth? I hate Reddit. But this was
You don't have more research? You didn't talk about Richard E. Byrd. I thought we were going to get into Richard Byrd.
No, tell me about Richard Byrd.
Well, I didn't do the research. All I've got is a Wikipedia article that I haven't read. But
I think you promised to do some research. Was really how this went.
But I also told you that I didn't do it.
I know. You told me 10 minutes before the episode.
Sounds like we gotta have an episode 2.
We've already been talking for like almost an hour. But Richard Byrd, all right, just from the top of my mind. Okay, full transparency. The research that I did today was listen to the last podcast on the left episode from years and years ago about Hollow Earth. So all of the information, most of the information in my brain was researched by those fucks. But all right, so this Andrew, what's his name? Fucking Richard. Richard E. Byrd. Guys, he did it. He made it to the center of the earth. He flew to the North Pole. He flew to Antarctica, right? Or not Antarctica. Wait.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's the South Pole.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where you went.
Right.
I just thought that maybe this was one of the guys that you done some research on, all right? Because he published like a whole book of secrets, all right, about how he traveled to the center of the earth and how like the tall white aliens that live in the center of the earth and were flying spaceships around and live in glowing rainbow cities, like brought him into their society.
I know what you're talking about.
And
yes.
Yes? Okay.
Hold on. It's it was like too bright for him to see with all the rainbows. I know what you're talking about.
All the rainbows.
Hold on.
Let me find the information. I have like literally 30 tabs open in Chrome right now. Works. Admiral Byrd may not have reached the North Pole after all? No way. No, he fully did.
No way. He went to the inside of the Earth. He went to the North Pole.
He went in there. He got up in there, dude. I need to find... His Wikipedia article is long, actually. There's so much in here.
I was trying to help you like find the quote, and I just got there's just a website, and it's can you fly through a rainbow? Absolutely. However, there are a few prerequisites. A helicopter helps. That was it. That's the website. It's just,
yeah.
I don't understand. What the fuck?
This is the thing that relates to Agartha, I feel like, because he believes that he flew to the fucking center of the earth and found a bunch of beautiful, verdant, glowing rainbow cities full of whites. That's really all I've got. That's really all I got for this conversation at the moment. I'm sorry. I spent the day at the mall because women be shopping.
Women be shopping. Welcome to my conspiracy theory. Women be shopping.
Yeah, it's really
it's not a theory.
Was there like a
it's
unified front with the women to be like, guys, we got to bring back the malls, because really the men didn't help there, right? I mean, I'll take ownership.
I think most people didn't.
That's
help.
why I went just single-handed. Like, I am saving that mall, dude. It needs me. That's why I'm there.
It's calling out for you.
Shopping.
I also love the fact that if you've listened to an hour of this podcast and now it's like, the fuck, they're talking about the mall. What the hell? Like, I love that so much. That's awesome.
We had to have some weird, like, off-topic thing at some point, right?
Did you get any pretzels?
No, I got poke, though.
Ooh.
It was good.
Okay, that's kind of a new age mall food.
They have a lot of good food at Bellevue Square. It's really amazing.
Bell Square is like a shockingly consistently upkept
all
mall, because like in Middle America, all the malls are dying, but here or Bellevue, rich people.
I don't know. Maybe there's some malls elsewhere. We got a couple. But this isn't an episode about mall theory.
Okay, I'm here for a hollow mall theory. All right, there's a secret world inside the dead malls in America.
I feel like we're getting into just like SCP territory, and we need to take 2 steps back.
Oh, okay. Is that not where we want to be? Okay.
QAnon is a real person fanfic.
That's next 10. We can talk SCPs.
They capture them somehow. Yeah, they really capture them somehow, and then they let them loose a lot, what I understand. Or they don't, because they would kill everyone. I don't know. There's a lot of different... Yeah, we'll talk about SCP point. I think this is a good... I don't think... Also, did we even... Griffin, did you actually say what the name of this podcast was? Did you actually say To Be Titled Later?
Yeah, I said To Be Titled Later right at the beginning.
I heard it.
Well,
I was there.
And this is what episode?
17.
17, and our socials are what? I mean, just the podcast, because that's.
If people want to email us, they can contact us at tbtlpod@gmail.com. Are you also asking about the Instagram?
Yeah, I think I am. The Instagram too.
Okay,
yeah, tbtlpod.
At tbtlpod on Instagram. I think my name is Griffin, and I'm joined by Anthony and special guest, super special guest,
Sofia. Special guest. We'll make that mistake again.
Thank you. Thank you for the recognition.
Tell your dad I'll see him tomorrow night.
That was weirdly aggressive. Okay.
Well, last time I said tell your mom I miss her. So, you know.
I forgot. That seems sweeter.
This time I'm going to fuck your dad.
God.
Let's fuck
gonna call her dad and be like, Dad, hide.
Yeah!
Let's fucking go!
LFG? Let's effing G, dude. All right, tell your friends, goodbye. Like, comment, subscribe, give us a 5-star review on everything. Thanks.
Yep.
Like,
all right,
comment,
6 stars,
subscribe,
you can.
fuck some dads.
See ya.
Bye.
Hell yeah. Bye.